Hi, you're watching News 9 Digital. I'm Pratibha. Thank you for joining me live today. Well, the beheading of a French teacher over Prophet Mohammed's caricature sent shockwaves across the world. While many were aghast at the sheer brutality, others debated the thin line between freedom of speech and hurting religious sentiments. Now, the latest crackdown, an unprecedented one in France, in response has been rapid and tough. A flurry of inquiries, closures, several plans put in place, and the bold statements by President Emmanuel Macron on radical Islam has opened up the most sensitive debate in the world, the one on radical Islam. From proposing stricter laws to uphold the principle of secularism, to also using terms like Islamic separatism and Islamic terror attacks, the president's comments have evoked severe backlash and anger from a host of countries like Pakistan, Turkey, Iran, among others. And now, in fact, several of these Muslim countries have also called for a ban on French products. Support has, however, been pouring in for France from certain quarters of India, with many appreciating the president's tough stance on terrorism. So, is this a crackdown on terror, or is this the singling out of a particular religion over a stray incident? Do we counter hate with hate, and where will this particular cancel culture that we are seeing lead us? To discuss more, joining us live is educationist Mohandas Pai, Padma Shri awardee and someone who is known to call a spade a spade. Mr. Mohandas Pai, many thanks for joining us. What's your stand on the issue? Is the boycott call by Muslim countries an overreaction or an appropriate response to the efforts of France?
Well, I think it's an overreaction for a very important reason. We should not meddle in the affairs of another country. This was a terrorist attack, a very brutal beheading in France, which against the values of the French Republic, right from the French Revolution. And the French are right in fighting against radical Islam and Islamic terrorism. I totally agree with them. Playing the cartoon on government buildings was unfortunate. They could have avoided that. Because doing it in schools to teach children about freedom of speech is okay. Asking the Muslim children to leave the classroom in case they get offended is okay. But playing it in government buildings was unfortunate to demonstrate your commitment to freedom of expression. But nevertheless, it is the French way, and we must respect the French for teaching the world what freedom of expression means, what individual freedom means after the French Revolution. And I think it's totally uncalled for any country like Pakistan, like Turkey or Iran to call for an economic boycott. Because remember, Pakistan is a fundamentalist state. Erdogan in Turkey is taking Turkey to very dangerous territory, becoming very fundamentalist, interfering in other countries. And Iran has been a country which always promotes terrorism. We know that. And these are the three countries doing that. I don't think other Islamic countries are going to come out officially. Saudi Arabia, to my mind, has not come out. So many people who are individually offended are crying for it. Is unfortunate, but I think economic boycott is not the way out. We must learn to respect other companies' views. For example, the EU will now unite. Germany has come out in support of France, and I think it's important in a country like India, where there is a lot of religious sentiments and spiritualism. We should not play those cartoons because we will offend a part of a population. And likewise, the Muslim community should not call non-Muslim kafirs or abuse them like many of them do, and they must not threaten others. I think there must be both communities who decide there are some sensitive issues and they should not go there, both sides. It cannot be a one-sided street, and I'm sure some parts of Lutheran media will support this boycott. We've seen them, and which is unfortunate. But I think this also exposes a hypocrisy of Pakistan, Iran, and Erdogan, because the Uyghurs in China, from all indications, all news have been put under concentration camp and they're being oppressed. Mosques are being destroyed and everywhere. And the National Security Advisor of Pakistan said, oh, we have gone there, everything is hunky-dory. That's total rubbish. It's a lie. So when people lie like this and they take on certain countries, they show their hypocrisy.
But a counter view would also be there's a totally different reaction in India when it comes to other religion. As of now, what's trending in India is I stand with France. Many people coming out in support of what the French president has said. But a counter question would be, if it was the same, we've seen what has happened with a few other gods and goddesses. If there has been any kind of a reaction to that. It has been of a lot of hate as well. So questions being raised on how you are coming out in support of what's happening in France, but you can't say the same when it happens in India.
Well, look, in India, we must learn not to brand people who are expressing their opinion. You may differ with them, don't brand them. If you brand them, you're a fascist.
Okay.
So if people say, I support France, that's fine. That's their individual opinion. We are a free country. Now, it all depends on what each individual has to do. And I don't think we should brand them to say, oh, you say, I support France and you don't support something else, you are this. Let's not make those comments. Because, please remember, this is about freedom of expression. Islamic terrorism is a reality. Every year, 70 to 80,000 people are killed. The great majority of Muslims alone. Muslims are killed by Muslims in the name of jihadi terror. Very few outsiders are killed. That's the reality. Let's go by data. So there is a problem with radical Islam. There's a problem with jihadi terrorism. And we must never forget that, never try to gloss over and cover it up. But we must also make sure that all of us don't offend others in this country, in India particularly, for the religious sentiments. But it has to be both sides. It cannot be one-sided where somebody is called a kafir, somebody is called all kind of stuff and abuse. And when they get it back, it's okay. So as a country, we must promote mutual respect for religion.
Okay. Keeping aside what's right or what's wrong, Mr. Mohandas Pai, what's your stand on the cancel culture that we are seeing? If, Amir Khan is spotted in Turkey praising the country, then people call for the boycott of Amir Khan's movies. We saw it happen with the Tanishq ad as well. People who were offended called for the boycott of Tanishq. And now it is several countries themselves coming forward and calling for the boycott of French products. So, where does cancel culture lead us? Is it right, or should we separate a particular, incident from what it is with how it is associated with the other products?
Well, I think cancel culture is very unfortunate. The cancel culture is the result of extremist thoughts in the Western world, particularly in the United States. We started from there, according to me. I mean, you don't like somebody, cancel them out. That's rubbish. That's against freedom of expression, it's against individual rights, and you cannot do that. Even in today, some of the Lutyens media is saying, don't give advertisement to other channels. Who are there to say anything? Don't give advertisement to other channels because they promote hate. Who are there to make a judgment on what other channels promote? This is the kind of culture. They all think that they're doing right, whereas they're doing equally the wrong thing, having one fake narrative. So I think the cancel culture is totally wrong. It should not work because both sides cancel each other. What do you get? Like Gandhiji said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth will make the world blind and toothless. So I don't think it's a very unfortunate product of extreme leftism, extreme left and fascism that is coming. In American universities, if you don't quote out to the majority opinion, you are shut out. They're not called. In JNU, if you don't listen to them, they don't allow anybody to come in. Chetan Bhagat was not allowed to come in. Baba Ramdev was not allowed to come in. They forget the university should have multiple use. You don't like some use, don't listen to them. That's fine. But you can't shut out people. So this is very, very unfortunate. And I'm sure the world will react. All right-seeking people will react and say, first, respect the right of others to the opinion. You can disagree with them. That is fine. But disagreement doesn't mean you try to cancel out the other views.
True. And
each one decide for himself or herself. That should be the right view. This cancel culture is totally wrong. And I think cancel culture leads to more extremism and fascism.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Mohandas Pai, many thanks for joining us live with your views on that. Of course, for his part, the French president did go in some damage control mode after countries called for a boycott of French products. He took to Twitter to convey the message that France stands for peace. He also tweeted in English as well as Arabic saying we are one, while also adding that we will not give in ever. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comment section as well what your thoughts are on the subject. I look forward to that. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Please like, share and subscribe to News9 Digital.